What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. We officially got the news from Niantic that we are going to get the exclusive move of Body Slam for Slaking during the community day. So definitely exciting. Body Slam does make it a better Pokemon. I do plan on doing a deep dive on this Pokemon tomorrow. So if you are interested in just how good Slaking is going to be, definitely make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe. But today's episode is going to be specifically centered around the event itself, talking about the guide related to the community day. So we are going to be going through some of the features as well as the features related to Adventure Sync. We are going to get bonuses that are going to be from two different events stacking on top of each other throughout community day. Definitely going to provide a ton of value from that regard. I'm very excited about it, so let's go ahead and get into the video. The first thing that we need to talk about is just Slaking itself. Go ahead and check out this massive CP. Of course, the biggest thing holding Slaking back is the quick move of Yawn doing 0 damage. That is kind of like the big determining factor of why you don't hear as much about Slaking. But if you check out the stats of this Pokemon specifically, it would be a monster if it were to receive a damage dealing quick move. Unfortunately, we did not get that from Community Day, but who knows, we're still going to be crossing our fingers. Maybe sometime in the future we will see it. But let's go ahead and talk about the event itself. When we are talking about some of the bonuses related to the event, we're going to take a look at Leak Duck's representation of this. I love the way that he consolidates it in this way. It's much easier than just reading a bunch of text. So we're going to be talking about, of course, the increased spawn rate. That is a fairly normal thing. Secondarily, we've got 1/4 egg hatch distance along the way. So what will happen is you will only get this benefit for any eggs that you begin to incubate once the event starts. You will not get it for just any of your incubators. It will have to happen during the 3-hour community day window. And speaking of that, it's going to be 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. in your local time zone on Saturday of June 8th. I'm personally very excited about it. Something that I would recommend you to do is maybe hold on to some of the larger eggs, maybe like a 10-kilometer egg or even some 7-kilometer eggs. Kind of wait on those a little bit, and then once the event starts, at that point in time, you want to incubate them just so you can cut down on as much distance as possible. Then, of course, if you're using a super incubator, it is definitely going to help out. Go ahead and check this out. This is going to be a little bit of an update since we now have the different lures, the magnetic lure, we have the mossy lure, and then of course the glacier lure. So none of those are going to boost normal type Pokemon to help out with community day, but you will get the benefit of them lasting for 3 hours. So I would recommend you to maybe put out a couple of those just to help out people in the community. So if you are needing to get some of the exclusive Pokemon like Leafeon, Glaceon, Magnezone, and then of course Probopass, this would be the way that you would do it using those different lures. So definitely keep that in mind. Other than that, we are of course going to get the exclusive move Body Slam, which is going to make it good. I would kind of think about this a little bit more from a gym defense standpoint. Body Slam is going to be very helpful and make Slaking better, at least from a gym defense standpoint, but you will only be able to get them during the actual 3-hour event window. And then something kind of cool that they don't really announce as much is that we do get an added extra hour after the event. So 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. you get an extra hour where you can evolve and get yourself that community day exclusive Slaking. So just keep that in mind. I typically wait until about 6 p.m. right? And then I'll just go trade for not an hour, but during that hour with some friends, try to get myself a lucky, try to get weather boosted versions of it so I don't have to invest any Stardust. I would highly recommend you to take care of that strategy. But remember, I said we're not going to only be getting the community day exclusive events during this event because we also have Adventure Week. Adventure Week will stack on this as far as the bonuses are concerned, and then of course give you some highlights as well as just some kind of general tutorials as to what we need to do. So first things first, we are still going to have the ×4 Buddy Candy. This is very important to consider because you will want to utilize a specific Pokemon. I'm personally going for the Garchomp family, but if you are curious as to what Pokemon you should be walking maybe throughout this event, definitely check out the video in the description as well as the pinned comment. Other than that though, we are going to get an increase for 2-kilometer eggs related to rock type spawns. That goes perfect with the fact that we do get that 1/4 distance per egg, so it may make some sense to just kind of plow through some of those 2-kilometer eggs, at least with your free incubator, your infinite incubator, something to definitely keep in mind. Other than that, we also have ×10 experience for new Pokestops. And then of course, if you are talking about the general experience with the lucky egg going on, we're talking about 4,000 experience per Pokestop. This is amazing. So maybe with this, you consider going to a place you've never gone before, getting yourself some new Pokestops if you are interested in experience. If you're not interested in grinding out experience, go to your typical place that you would play for Community Day. But beyond just the experience for the new Pokestops, a final piece of information that we do need to consider is the fact that you will be able to get 50,000 Stardust and 15 rare candies if you are able to complete the 50 kilometers for Adventure Sync, and then of course getting the reward on the following Monday. So if you are using this for Community Day, I would recommend you to rack up as much distance as possible as you can. Just kind of keep that in mind. Finish out the week strong. Make sure you get this. Now don't quote me on this, but I do think we would be able to use a star piece to get the added benefit of 75,000 Stardust. I think that that would make sense. You would of course have to put up your star piece before you get the reward on Monday, and then of course the reward comes in, and then you would get 75,000 Stardust. I haven't really seen anybody talk about that though, so of course do not quote me on that, but that's definitely exciting. But like I said, you definitely need to figure out a way to get yourself the 50 kilometers. You don't know what I'm doing right now? Maybe you should check out the other video that will be in the link in the description, as well as the pinned comment. So yeah, I am very excited about this. The Community Day is of course getting a little bit more complicated than we ever anticipated. Of course, with having a double stack as well as some new features like the lures, for example. But as time goes on, this will become just a part of the general guide. And then if there is anything new, I will of course add to it. But I want to know what you think about the Community Day. Are you excited about Slaking getting Body Slam? Are you excited just about the event itself? What are your plans for it? Definitely let me know in the comments section below, and we'll see you next time. I wanted to extend a huge thank you to the supporters over at Patreon. You definitely make this possible, and I 100% appreciate this support. If you are interested in supporting my channel on Patreon, definitely feel free to check out the link in the description.